Hi guys, how is everyone doing? I really want to discuss a really important factor that came across on my desk yesterday, and that is a really important thing that I thought every business owner should know. And it was two proposals actually, business proposals. One for our own Zoho Creator system, and one for a traditional document which is shared by one of my clients. And my mind was blown by the details in between those two documents. So I will just roughly go through that and what are the major differences in traditional development and local no-code development, so that when it's your turn, you can make this decision much easier, right? In today's time, every businesses want a solution and they want a custom solution. It is not the 2000s starting or the 90s where we all have a software and we try to push our workflows into that software and use it anyhow. The times have changed. Now every business wants their own software, their own branded software, which is entirely customized for their own workflows and all. But when you think like that, and when you start building applications like that, the cycle entirely changes. It may go to 6 months to 1.5 years to build an application, an enterprise level ERP. So when that happens, businesses waste money and time, which they could have been invested on a local no-code platform in traditional application development. So the real question is no longer is can we build an application? Of course we can. The real question is how fast we can adapt when the business is rapidly changing. Now, that is where the comparison comes, and that is where the comparison is starting. Okay. So, I'll give you an example on how a traditional application, works if you don't know. So, I think most of you probably know this. So, I'll just go through that. So, the traditional application development starts at the very basic core called BRT, Business Requirement Documentation. So in this procedure, a business analyst will come to your office. He will collect all of the requirements which you want into your new application. So he will suggest, okay, what are the business models we are going to follow? Are we going to follow waterfall development or are we going to follow agile development? He will decide all of this, and based on that document, he will create software specification document, SRD. So software requirement specification. This document will contain most of the coding side. Which are the languages we are using. So backend, which language we are using. Front end, which language we are using. Then he will write the functional requirement documentation, FRD. Now here is where the users come in, the functions come in, the buttons come in. All of these problems will come in this section. So these three documents, BRD, SRC, and FRD, these were the basic building blocks of a traditional development. Then once it is all getting confirmed by the management and all of the people who are involved in the project, then the UI UX design starts. Basically, a graphic designer or anyone related to a UI UX design will start the design. He will lay out the graphics. He will lay out what are the colors, what are the logos will need to be there, and he will submit everything. And all of this, the approval section goes there again. The CEO says, "Hey, I need it a little bit reddish." The CFO says, "No, I need it a little bit green because green is money." So these kind of questions happen. These kind of discussions happen. Once that getting confirmed, the front end developers, that's where the actual coding work starts. The front end gets developed, then following on that, the back end gets developed, the logic is getting returned, all of these errors starts to come, all of these bugs start to come. Then the database will get created. Nowadays it's either Amazon or Azure, somewhere, you host the server, set up the server, you create the database, then you configure the security, what are the firewall I need to use, what are the protocols I need to set. Then the tester come, they test the application inside out. What are the bugs? Is there any bugs remaining? Is there any fixes happening? They done everything, and the devs come in and deploy the application on the server so that everyone start using. And once they start using, errors keep coming up. Applications get breaks, all those things happen, and from there onwards, it's a very war kind of process. One user say I can't access the system, the DevOps guy say, oh no no no, the system is completely working fine. So it's a real roller coaster when it comes to traditional development. All of this happen. things happening simultaneously, and you have to be there in the middle. The business owners or the CEOs need to be in the middle and see all of things going cuckoo. So that is where Zoho Creator comes in. Now, Zoho Creator, it is a completely different game when it comes to developing an application. So there is documents. You don't need to specify every single functions which that need to be written on the application because it's already pre-existing. You don't need to develop anything from the ground up. The forms are there, the workflows are there, the automations are there, the reports are there, the dashboards are there. No more, developing from the ground is needed. You just specify what you want and you're done. And taking going back through the procedure, UI UX, no need to design. There is a business setup, there is a business ready UI UX is available. You can just customize it. You don't need to write a single code. You can just select, like editing on Canva. You can change the colors. You can canvas. You can configure it to your own company base, your organizational logo. And then there is no front end developer needed because the front end is already there, the backend is already there, the database is already configured. You are just you know explaining to the system what you want, and the system will give you that. And there is coding required, very basic level of coding using Deluge. If you don't know, Deluge is a language developed by Soho, and it is very high level language, which means you can code it like you're speaking English. You can code it into the system, and the system will work fine. So considering all of that, the security, it is taken care by Soho. It is compliant according to all the government organizations wherever it is working. And if you are taking GCC, it is already compliant with the UAE government laws. And since the each of these features will increase the app development cycle, you won't lose a single time on developing the application. You will lose time. You will lose time learning the application, because every time you learn, you will come up with a new feature which can improve your organization. So you will be spending your time on productivity. You will be spending your time on how improving that application to your own specification of your organization, so that you know the scalability complex, which if you want to do a scalability complex scale an application in the traditional development, that is going to become a mini project itself. Now whereas in Soho, it is simple. You are just scaling automatically. Scaling becomes inevitable when you start using the system, because the functions are there. You just need to enable it and start using it. That is where the major difference between a traditionally developed application and a low code no code platform created by Soho. So now, one more point which immediately come to my mind is the mobile accessibility. Right now in terms, the no one wants to access systems on the laptop. Not I'm saying entirely, but let's say one day you're sitting in your office using your laptop to do some task. It's fine. Next day you are out in an event, you are out traveling to somewhere. Suddenly you have to do some task. The mobile application availability is much necessary than rather than a feature right now. So every application that you create on Software Creator comes as a mobile application for built for iOS and Android. So there is no time for spending additional time on creating a mobile based application like in Flutter or Shift. It is inevitable. You can, when you develop a system on Soho Creator, you use it on mobile. It's like that only. So to summarize, Soho Creator enables fast development, low cost, enterprise level scalability. Now, traditional software development builds software. Soho Creator build agility. And today's